Treacherous. Chapter 36. 3 months later. Clad in an orange work suit and brown slippers, Panjani was brought into the courtroom in handcuffs and leg shackles by heavily armed officers. They directed him to the prisoner's desk and he sat down. Panjani looked around the courtroom, which was full as usual. His eyes were dark and devoid of any emotion. Today he was being sentenced for the series of murders he executed the last couple of months. He wasn't a murderer, nor was he an emotionally unstable killer. Yes, he had killed Kara, Curtis and Sheila, but he was just avenging his sister's death, and looking back, Panjani had no regrets for killing the trio. Giving into the quiet atmosphere in the courtroom, he closed his eyes and started thinking about the way his life had shaped up till now. And he went back to that fateful day when he took the lives of his victims. "Panjani, please, I am." Before she could finish her sentence, he pulled the trigger. Boom! A deafening noise exploded. The bullet hit right through her, splattering blood all over the wall. He was amazed at the amount of blood that was contained in one human body. Panjani pulled one last drag on his cigarette and tossed it away. After that he poured paraffin on the couch, lit a match and threw it there. Then he watched it burst into flames before he quickly left the house. When he got home, he found Salma waiting up for him. She had not left the house as he had instructed her to. Salma had sent the kids off to her cousin's house so she could talk to Panjani and sort things out. "What are you still doing here?" he angrily asked. "I want us to talk." "What do you want us to talk about?" "Your escapades with Curtis, or how you wanted to kill me so you and your boyfriend could inherit my properties, get married and live happily ever after," he snapped. Salma froze. She had no idea how Panjani got hold of all this information. "Cat's got your tongue," he mocked. "I am sorry, You are sorry," he shouted. "You made my sister a pawn in your game and she lost her life. I met Curtis before Miracle did. He was the man I was in love with before I married you. I bet you were excited when he came back. I don't know what to tell you, but things happened and I couldn't stop them. I am sorry." "Kara is dead," he said. "What? How? When?" "I killed her." Panjani. Single quote. "And you were next." She looked upright and they locked eyes for a moment. His eyes were dark and cold. Salma trembled at the look in Panjani's eye. She wanted to run, but as if reading her mind, he quickly grabbed her arm and pushed her down the floor. "Salma, I loved you so much I would have given you the world if you had asked, but you betrayed me and now you will suffer the consequences," he yelled before he tied her legs and hands. Reaching into the other room, he grabbed a small white cloth and pressed it against her nose. Instantly she passed out. He carried her and threw her into the trunk of the car and drove off. When Salma opened her eyes, she was in the same room with Sheila and Panjani all tied up like them. "What's happening?" she asked. "Ask your husband," Sheila responded. "Panjani will kill us if we don't get out of this house." Curtis laughed. "How do you think we will get out of here? Can't you see we all tied up?" "Why is your husband this angry with us?" Sheila asked. "And who are you?" asked Salma. "I am his fiancé." "Curtis, what is she talking about? This is not the right time to talk about all this." "No, let's talk about this right now. Were you cheating on Miracle and I?" "You and Miracle?" Sheila shot her a surprising look. "Shut up," Salma snapped. "Don't tell me to shut up." "Curtis, I am very disappointed in you. How could you do this to me? I risked my marriage for you." "So you have been sleeping with your sister-in-law," Sheila interrupted. Before Curtis could respond, the door swung open and Panjani walked in. "Pal, we can talk about this," Salma said, but he ignored her and faced Curtis. "Curtis, how did my sister die?" he asked. Curtis chose to keep quiet. Panjani pulled out his gun and pointed it at Sheila. "How did my sister die?" he asked again. "She had an attack because she found out that Curtis was engaged to be married to me," Sheila said. So who did Curtis engage first between you and my sister? Your sister. Did you know he was seeing my sister before you got entangled with him? Well, It's a yes or no question. Yes. Do you have any last words to say before you die? Die. Do you? He raised his gun and prepared to shoot her. I am sorry, Sheila nervously said. Panjani, please don't. Before Salma could finish her sentence, Panjani pulled the trigger, shooting Sheila. Sheila gasped as a stream of blood seeped onto the bed. You killed her, Curtis screamed. And you are next, he said in a cold tone. He made sure that Sheila was dead by shooting her again. Please don't do this, Curtis pleaded when he pointed the gun at him. Miracle had a plan for the future, but because of you she is no more. Give me a reason why I should spare your life. I am sorry. Panjani laughed, and sorry is supposed to bring her back, right? Please. Panjani grabbed a knife and raised it to Curtis' throat. Salma went completely still as Panjani began to slit Curtis' throat. To be continued.